we're streaming and rocking and rolling and ready to go. It took a second. We're like the Indiana Fever, you know. It took us just a little bit of time to kind of get ready and get going, and we finally got it figured out. It is all good, man. It is all good. We are up and streaming on all of our streaming services, so we are rocking and rolling. All right, beauty. Okay, so we're back. Post Geek'd Con, we're in post Geek'd Con recovery phase. That's always a blast.
All right.
That's what we got going on. We've also got a conversation with Tim Rebowe coming up. We finally got that handled. I was supposed to have Rebowe on a week ago Friday, and not this past Friday, but the Friday before when I went to the ER with the low blood sugar. And so we're hanging in, man. We're making it. Got through Geek'd Con weekend. We'll talk all about that. We got a lot to get to with that. The Saints played last night and, had one really nice offensive drive and played pretty well defensively all the way around. So we'll get into some of that and what that may mean and kind of what the Saints are looking like. Some of the bloom came off the rose a bit for Spencer Rattler, but, you kind of expect that sort of thing for a rookie quarterback. And apparently Drew Brees Jr. is now in the NFL because all anybody can talk about is Bo Nix with Sean Payton and how good he has been. So yeah, there's a lot happening. NFL is getting close. Obviously, college football is getting close. We're continuing our previews of college football, trying to get all the Louisiana Division I football coaches on the show at some point. And again, we continue with Tim Rebowe coming up at 2:00. We recorded an interview with Coach Rebowe actually on Friday when we were off. So went ahead and recorded an interview with Rebowe then. But yeah, we got all that happening and just ready, ready, willing, and able to chat about what's going on. The Fever have gone 2-0 since coming back off the break. Angel Reese is putting up good numbers, but the Sky aren't necessarily winning. The Fever are. And Caitlin Clark has already set the rookie record for most assists in a season. And by the way, has a very reasonable shot at setting the entire record for most assists in the season, not just a rookie. So that you got that to look forward to. The Caitlin Clark hype train doesn't appear to be slowing down any. That's for sure. So even had a little disagreement at the end of that game last night or yesterday afternoon. That was fun. Coaches kind of got into it a little bit, which was nice. Good to see. You had Skylar Diggs went over and kind of gave a little shoulder shimmy over to Caitlin Clark as she was celebrating the win. So I love it. Right? Let's get more of that. Let's the more attention you can get, the better, and why not? Let's I mean, we don't need to be having all out brawls, but heck, they're having a little bit of fun anyway. So yeah, we got that going on. We had Geek'd Con and the what went down there. We'll talk all about that. And Hambone making an appearance at Geek'd Con. We'll talk about his experience there, and then whatever else is on your mind, man. We'd love to hear from you. That's how we operate. You can reach us in a couple of different ways. You can call us on the Pearl Shreveport hotline. The Pearl Shreveport hotline, 318-RALLY-45, 318-725-5945.
Hello.
Hey, Coach O. You can also reach us on the Bobby L. Greene Plumbing text line. That number is 318-6570-HAM. 318-657-0426, also known as the Bobby L. Greene Plumbing text line. And of course, Bobby L. Greene Plumbing, not only handling plumbing and heating, also cooling now, which, right now we're okay, but, as that sun gets back out, it's going to heat back up again. And so it's going to get warm yet again. So be careful out there, everyone. Not only is it going to be warm this afternoon, but it's also going to start being humid again. Not that it wasn't humid before, but it's going to start getting humid and starting to get a little steamy. Of course, we've already got water on the ground basically, and so that makes it a little bit more difficult, and just adds a little moisture to the atmosphere. That doesn't help. Certainly, that does not help. We got that happening, and dude, we're hanging. We're happy to have you. Hope everyone's having a wonderful day, and we certainly are hopeful that everyone will got through Geek'd Con okay, unscathed, got all the autographs that they wanted to get, and got all the memorabilia they wanted to get. And if you wanted to pick up some sports cards, had the Sports Card Expo going on upstairs. Fletch was selling. I didn't realize Fletcher had 9 quadrillion cards, but he had them all out there, and I think was doing some selling as well. So just a big weekend, and we'll get more into it as we move forward. But yeah, we're excited, man. It's a Monday, which means we get to talk about everything that went down over the weekend, and we get to chat it up with you about what you have going on. And this is the last weekend without football that means something. This coming weekend is week 0, so it is games that matter start this weekend, which is crazy. Hambone's McNeese Cowboys getting underway against Tarleton. That's coming up this weekend. So, yeah, it's here, man. College football is absolutely here, and just crazy that we made it, and we got here, and now we're just about ready to go. And here's hoping in the next really 2 weeks that we can get. We're missing ULL, we're missing ULM. Tulane, who they have been, we've been trying to kind of hammer out a time frame for that. ULL as well. Their SID is a good friend, so we're working all of that, and hopefully we'll get everything figured out, shaped out, ready to go, and we'll be able to bring you as many coaches as we can. I have not heard a thing back from Grambling or Southern, and I'm going to follow up with them here, hopefully here soon. But I have not heard anything from Grambling or Southern, but I feel like we're going to get. I feel like we're going to be able to get the ULL. Hopefully ULM. Have not heard anything back from ULM, but definitely ULL and Tulane. We've got Nicholls. We've had McNeese, Northwestern State, Southeastern Louisiana. Really the only ones that I feel like we're going to struggle with is, can we get Brian Kelly from LSU? We've never had him. As far as I know, and Rogers, you may correct me if I'm wrong, but as far as I know, Brian Kelly's not spoken to anyone up here in Northwest Louisiana other than, the time frames when he's come in for like a recruiting visit, or I know they've had their kind of, one of their little tour stops or whatever at walk-ons. But other than that, I don't think Brian Kelly's spoken to anyone up here in the media. So we haven't had that happen as of yet. But we are, we're hopeful. We're hopeful that we can get Brian Kelly on at some point. But again, I haven't heard anything from Grambling or Southern. But I feel good we'll get Tulane, ULM, ULL in the next 2 weeks. And obviously, Tim Rebowe, the head coach of Nicholls, joins us in about 45 minutes or so. Also, one programming note, Wednesday at 1:30, we're going to talk to the new president of Northwestern State, former Louisiana Superior Court Judge Jimmy Genovese is going to join us on Wednesday at 1:30, and we're going to talk about what he's looking at, what is he trying to get accomplished, what does he consider the major needs for Northwestern State. Obviously, enrollment is chief among them. They've hit a downslide in enrollment. And apparently there's every possibility that it may get worse come 2025, not just for Northwestern, but for a lot of schools. People are talking about there's an enrollment cliff that is coming in 2025. So we'll talk to Jimmy Genovese about that, and just kind of how he's trying to implement some new things, what he's trying to get accomplished at Northwestern. All of that stuff. So that's what we got going on, and we'll obviously mix and match some other guests in there as well. We really need to talk some Saints. Need to get Luke Johnson or get a Catherine Cat Terrell or Jeff Duncan. Someone we need to roll in a Saints guest coming up here before too long. Now that they are I think they're breaking camp now and heading back from the West Coast. So, and again, we'll discuss the game, what we kind of saw from last night as well. So all of that going on, and of course, we are talking to you as well. And you can talk to us. And how do you do that? You can, again, call us on in the Pearl Shreveport hotline, 725-5945. Text us on the Bobby L. Greene Plumbing text line, 657-0 ham 657-0426. We're available on streaming in 3 different spots. You can find us on Facebook, you can find us on YouTube, and you can find us on Twitter/X. How do you do that? 3 ways to do that: Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. If you go to Facebook or YouTube and just search for Netherton or the Patrick Netherton Show, chances are you can find us. The direct link is Netherton Show. So if you go to facebook.com/Netherton Show, it should take you directly to the page. For YouTube, you have to add put the @ before it, the little @ symbol, like in a Twitter handle. And so for YouTube, it's youtube.com/@Netherton Show. Those are the ways that you get in touch with us on there. And then on Twitter/X, we use the personal account, not the page account, the radio show account. So if you want to watch us streaming over on X, it is @PT Netherton, @PT Netherton. So those are the ways that you can watch the show if you want to watch us streaming a little bit. We are also available for you via the app. That is a terrific way to tune in. All you have to do is search for 1130 The Tiger on Google Play or your iTunes App Store, and you can listen to us in crystal clear HD audio. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the man, the myth, the legend, Geek'd Con star, Rogers Hampton.
We represent the Lollipop Guild, the Lollipop Guild, the Lollipop Guild, and in the name of the Lollipop Guild, we wish to welcome you to Munchkinland.
Hey, boy! Hey, boy.
Hi, man.
Hello.
What's up, dude?
Monday, everybody is dragging.
Yeah, brother.
Everybody in this building is sore from head to toe, and it's funny to watch it.
Yeah.
Because at least we all find we have something in common. I mean, everybody's like, and it's just been, we all look like a mash unit.
Yeah, look, I was sore as hell myself, Rogers. But I kind of knew going in that I really wasn't in like walking around a bunch shape.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like I haven't done a whole lot of walking recently. So
same here.
So I knew that it was gonna be a problem. And it was absolutely a problem. Now my feet are actually better today than I expected them to be.
Wow.
Yeah, like I did not expect, I expected my feet to be a lot more sore today. But the rest of me is making up for it. So, the hips are sore, my left hamstring is really sore for some reason. I don't know why. But the calves, the hips, the knees, like all of that is sore.
Oh,
my feet
Both
are
my
better.
hips, it feel like somebody's got 2 fists in each side of my hip just pressing down because I can't even probably stand up straight.
Yeah.
Because it probably wouldn't have been as bad, but since Little Bit was with me and we took turns walking around and going downstairs, if I'd have just stood there with Fletch that whole time, still would have been sore. But when you start walking around that place and going up and down those escalators, and at one point one of them broke, so you had to walk that big long plank, man, by the time when we left that place Saturday night, and by the time Lauren took me to my house, I could barely get out of her car.
Yeah.
And we walked into the house, and she was even like, Dad, my ankle and my knee. And I was like, well, I know it. So everybody's kind of in that same boat, but it was worth every second of pain.
Yeah, it was great. It was a great event.
I had another good time. I mean, how can I not? Little Bit was with me,
Right,
so
right.
we could have been at a, I don't know, but it was and even a couple of people even said, boy, she sure seemed to be happy to be with her daddy. I said, and vice versa. And they said, oh, gosh, yes, vice versa as well. And everybody kind of picked up on how she and I were really enjoying each other's company.
Yeah, it's no surprise there. No surprise there. Rogers, I'm not going to lie to you, man. I did not realize that our dear leader had such an extensive card collection.
Oh no! Lauren and I got there so early Saturday. We got there between like 8 and 8:30 because I was maybe Fletch needs some help. We walked into the second floor where the sports card show was, and nobody was there yet. None of the guests. I was like, okay, well, let's look around and see if we can find his booth. And we went to 2 or 3 other ones that I said, well, maybe this is his, and they were a little smaller. And then we were like, well, but his name's not on anything. So finally we walked around, and all of a sudden when we saw where it was, and he had like 4 long tables and pieces of paper in front saying how to get in touch with him and Dot Fletch. I was like, this is his table? And believe me, he even pulled out more of those cards after that he had underneath the tables that he was still going through and putting prices on. And, everybody was in that same boat as you and me, bud. We were like, well, we knew you had bought some cards, but we didn't know you had bought some cards.
No, I was shocked, Rogers.
I was very impressed. He had like cards from every NFL team. He had so many local athletes that have played in whatever profession they're in. Very impressive, man. And I didn't talk to him, get personal about, hey man, I just hope he made a little something.
Yeah.
I know he sold some. So
well, here's the thing, Rogers. I mean, it's not like he bought anything there. And so it's like, well, I'm out. I don't know what the table costs. I don't know how much, if anything, he got charged for actually having the table.
Yeah.
But I've got to imagine that he probably made more than whatever the table was. And then everything after that is straight profit.
Absolutely.
Because he already owns the cards. Like, he already owns them. They're already paid for. So, yeah, I hope he did all right. Maybe.
It was just very interesting to watch from the back of it. Because like you said, I just didn't realize how extensive it was. So, and it was funny you talking about since he was just selling, there were many people that came up that asked him if he were buying.
Yeah.
But he was very gracious enough to go, hey, go check that table and that table because I believe that if it is something of value that they may be buying. But he was like, nah, all I am is selling. Sorry, I can't help you. So it really was. They approached him in the same realm of, are you buying as well? No. And then if somebody was asking a question about a card and he didn't know, there were a couple of people on that second floor that were actual, authorities in that. He would go, no, go see them, and they'll be able to grade your card, and then you'll know what it's worth to the other guys who are trying to sell it.
Did you hear the story of the baseball, Rogers? That some lady, I think it was a lady, brought a baseball in.
Very mannish.
That had a bunch of signatures on it. And she wanted, and I can't remember. I don't remember who the player signatures was. Greg told me the story, so if you want to get the whole story, you can ask him.
Do you even remember the sport?
So it was baseball guys, because it was a baseball.
Okay, baseball guy. Professional or collegiate?
Yeah. No, we're talking like legit legit guys, like,
Okay.
the
All right.
like, it wasn't Babe Ruth, but like, Babe Ruth.
But a bunch of signatures
Well,
on one baseball.
it was several signatures on one baseball.
Okay.
And she just was getting them authenticated. And so the guy, she hands it to the guy, the authenticating guy, and he looks and he goes, well, yeah, that's, blah, blah, blah. And I wish I could remember what the names were that were on the the baseball. I'm actually text Greg right now and see if he can send me the names on the baseball. And so so she's like, yeah, that's what I was trying to see if that these were legit. And he's like, yeah, like, this is a legit signature. And then he's like, do you realize you have like this other baseball player, like Henry Aaron or something on here? And she's like, no, I didn't have any idea. And he goes, okay. And then he goes, wait, this signature is Dick Van Dyke. And she's like, what? And he said, I think this is a USO tour. Like, this was one of those, where they go barnstorming around with, athletes and comedians and all that. It's like, Bob Hope used to always do all the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the guy was like, I think this might be like a USO tour ball, because it's like 2 or 3 Major League Baseball players. It's Dick Van Dyke. There apparently was some other signature that they weren't 100% sure what it was, but he's like, I'm pretty sure this is also someone famous. And I don't know that, I don't know if there's any value in it. I have no idea. But it was Jackie Robinson, Larry Doby, Dick Van Dyke, and then a couple of others that they weren't sure of that were on the ball. Greg just texted me. So Jackie Robinson, Larry Doby.
I shouldn't say that sounded like a Greg answer.
Yeah. Greg just texted me. Jackie Robinson, Larry Doby, Dick Van Dyke, and then a couple other ones. And the guy's like, this feels like it was like a USO tour or something. So they were working to try to figure out what the other signatures were, but not having any success at that point.
Did she ever get an estimate?
I have no idea. I all I know is that it was such an odd baseball to show up with, and have a.
Because you're expecting baseball names, but not
right,
entertainer
not
names.
Dick Van Dyke.
Because we had a guy that showed up at Fletcher's booth that had a 1988 baseball from the Men's Olympics, and it was like Jim Abbott and whoever was on that 1988 Men's Olympics team. It was all over the ball. There were like 25, 30 signatures on this baseball. It was very impressive.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. Absolutely nuts. And some of the memorabilia that they show up with, like at those kind of things, is wild. Like, just the idea that they have some of this stuff is absolutely crazy. Rogers, I believe you also collected a little bit of memorabilia while you were there as well, though you did not pay for any of it.
No, I was gifted.
Yes,
a couple of things.
What? Give us the gifts.
Well, the first one by you was an Elvis Presley Jailhouse Rock video Funko Pop.
Right.
Him in his little prisoner suit on his tippy toes, which is weird because normally they're just the little blockheads standing in that same position.
Right.
But this was him on his tippy toes way before Michael Jackson ever did it, by the way. And him in his little prison uniform in the video where you see he's in, Jailhouse Row.
Right.
So I was like, man, that's pretty cool because, I got music ones. And then Lord Hester comes by a little later. He hands me a artist drawing of Kiss with them kind of looking more evil than normal. And it was the artist who draws some of their magazines and stuff like that. And he had bought me that with the autograph of the artist. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah, because it was funny because Lauren and I had seen that booth and that thing. And we thought it was pretty cool. So when he handed it to me, I was like, we just looked at this about 2 hours ago. He goes, well, as soon as I saw it, I thought of you. So those were the two. And then we were going back that evening after we saw the John C. McGinley panel, and we were going to try to get his autograph, but he had already bailed out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I enjoyed that more than I ever thought I would. Because he's one of those actors that's been in 100 things, and in most characters, he's played a jerk.
Right.
And you start to think, well, is it because he knows how to be one and he is one, in real life, and it's easy to be one? It couldn't have been further from the truth. This guy was as open and as intelligent and as vocal with his responses, with detail, with feeling, with sympathy. No matter what the question was, this guy gave you more than the answer he should have.
Yeah.
And I was very impressed because I was like, hey, this guy may play bad characters because it takes one to know one. And if that's his angle, okay.
Sure.
You're a Hollywood star. But that wasn't the case at all. And even Lauren was like, this guy's very intelligent. I said, this guy is very smart.
Yeah, very intelligent, and I actually had a chance to talk to him twice.
Adam told us that this morning.
Yeah, so I went with my buddy Scott.
He said that he is he's a big sports guy, and he
really
talks so
is.
much sports with y'all.
Yeah.
And he said it seemed like he really enjoyed that kind of diversion away from the other stuff.
Yeah.
So Adam did tell us that.
Yeah, he was. He's apparently a huge New York Giants fan, and was telling us, he's concerned that Daniel Jones is not
I
the
didn't know
guy.
if you were going to say that or not, because Adam was like, "Oh man, he's not a Daniel Jones."
Yeah, I mean, he seemed, and look, but here's the thing: he's voicing the same issues that every New York Giants fan is voicing. That, look, you didn't give Daniel Jones a big extension. You gave him some, but it's not like that it's a contract you can't get out from under at some point. But you're paying him, like a top 10, 15 starter in the league. And there was all the talk where could they move up and draft somebody, and they never, were able to move up. They were looking, I think Drake May, they had their eye on. They did the Hard Knocks front office show, which was really, and I've mentioned this, it was really good, like very, very good. So they did that, and so they end up, trying to find out a way to see if they can move up. No one wants to move down. They're not going to be able to get a quarterback. They end up taking Malik Neighbors. They made a trade. Or a free agent signing, I can't remember which one, and went and got a couple of offensive linemen. They went and got a big pass rusher, Burns from Carolina. And so they made a lot of moves, but none of them involved the quarterback. And then yesterday, Jones threw a pick six, and I think he threw 2 picks yesterday, and both of them were pretty bad. So, yeah, I mean, McGinley's kind of voicing what I think all New York Giants fans are kind of thinking, and that is this the guy, right? You're kind of paying him to be the guy. Again, it's not like it's an exorbitant contract where they're paying him $50 million a year or anything, but they're paying him basically $40 million a year. So this is one of those you need to put up. Like, you need to find a way to make it happen. So yeah, a really difficult scenario. For Giants fans to be in, and so McGinley was voicing that. And again, I don't think that's news to anybody. Now you're worried that Saquon Barkley is going to go and set the world on fire with the Eagles and run for 200 against you in both games that you play, in the division, all that stuff. So yeah, it's a legitimate question. But yeah, I got to talk to McGinley twice. During the course of Geek'd Con, and he was awesome. Also got to take Kevin Durant back to the airport yesterday, and he could not have been cooler. Also, found out it was only like his 3rd con he's ever done, and he was a natural, man. He was an absolute star. So, and he tried to tip me, and I didn't take it. He tried to give me a 20, but I turned it down. So, I can't be letting the guests tip me for driving them back to the airport. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. It's the Patrick Netherton Show. Don't forget, coming up at the top of the hour, we will chat with Tim Rebowe, the head coach of the Nicholls Colonels. He will join us to talk about defending the Southland Conference Championship, another really difficult non-conference schedule. They start at Tech coming up in a couple of weeks, and then they play at LSU for the first time ever, which is amazing. So we'll chat with Tim Rebowe, the Nicholls Colonels head coach, coming up at the top of the hour. Love to hear from you, especially if you got out to Geek'd Con. Would love to hear your thoughts, especially if you got to meet Rogers, right? Tell me about that. Hit us up on the Bobby L. Greene Plumbing text line at 657-0HAM, 657-0426, or call us on the Pearl Shreveport hotline at 725-5945. Streaming, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter/X. We're all over the place. Come join us. We'll be back.
One team, 3 generations of local service. Bobby L. Greene, your home team, 6310235. We have it all.
You've heard a lot of remarkable things about the Pearl Restaurant, located at Fern and 70th. In addition to the incredible food and drinks, the Pearl is now open for dinner 7 days a week, plus lunch or brunch on the weekends. The bar opens at 3, the restaurant opens at 4 Monday through Thursday, and it opens at 11 a.m. all weekend long. Amazing Louisiana-style food with flavor profiles unlike anything you'll find in the state. A 47-foot bar serving signature cocktails, spirits, wine, and beer, an unrivaled selection of both raw and cooked oysters. Plus, the Pearl is serving up amazing old-school favorites like burgers and certified Angus steaks, dry-aged and rubbed in their special pearl dust. Both the burgers and steaks are Rogers Hampton approved, which is the most prestigious award that a food can receive. The Pearl Restaurant, 6871 Fern Avenue, right off East 70th. Whether you want an amazing lunch on the weekend or an elegant dinner any day of the week, the Pearl has you covered. Let them treat you right at the Pearl.
Restore me, refuel me, rejuvenate me. RejuveMeMedical.com.
Hi, I'm Cesar Milan. People are always commenting on how happy and healthy my dogs are. One of the reasons is the food my dogs eat.
Introducing Dr. Marty's Nature's Blend, a premium freeze-dried raw dog food.
I have been feeding them Dr. Marty's freeze-dried raw formula for years. And this food is a big part of why their jaws are more flexible, their teeth are cleaner, and their coat shinier, and why they seem more youthful and playful.
And dog parents across the U.S. are loving it.
My dog Hazel is a 10-and-a-half-year-old golden retriever, and ever since I've been feeding her Dr. Marty's Nature's Blend food, she is like a puppy again. It's unbelievable.
We're so confident your dog will love it. Your order is backed with a 90-day guarantee. And for a limited time, save up to 54% off Nature's Blend and get a free bag of Cod Krispies. They're wild-caught, ultra-crunchy cod skin treats. Go to drmartypets.com/deal or text DEAL to 511-511. Text DEAL to 511-511 today. All dogs are unique. Your dog results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply.
Getting behind the wheel after drinking could change your world. Bobby here had a great time at the party and thought he was good to drive home. Now, Bobby's facing jail time, an upset wife, disappointed parents, and up to a $10,000 fine. It only takes one bad decision to change your world forever. Getting behind the wheel after you've been drinking is one of them. Drive sober or get pulled over. Learn more at NHTSA.gov. That's NHTSA.gov. This message brought to you by NHTSA.
Welcome back to the Patrick Netherton Show.
Patrick Netherton Show, 1130 The Tiger, 103.3 FM, Rogers, Hampton. Patrick Netherton, that's us. Rogers, Coach Black said, tell Rogers hello over on Facebook. So, what up, Coach Black? Be seeing him here before too long. Got volleyball coming up and football.
Boy!
Yeah. Volleyball and football coming up here before you know it, right at the beginning of September. For both. Volleyball actually has an exhibition against Louisiana Tech coming up on Friday. I got to figure out if I can get down there and check it out, so I can kind of get a little scouting report on the team to get ready for the season. Trey over on YouTube said had a great time, enjoyed the Henry Thomas panel, and the whole show was as solid as ever. Yeah, I haven't gone through and kind of had the post match press conference, so to speak, with post game press conference with Greg yet, aka Geek'd Con Daddy. But I'm interested because it didn't look like the lines for the guests were that long. Like it didn't look like the guests were that busy, but it felt like the building itself was still very busy. Felt like there were a lot of folks there. It felt like it felt like the ticket sales were good. Again, this is just kind of vibes, like just being in the building. Felt like there were a lot of people there, and it just seemed like it was a year where the people were more kind of around the vendors and less around the celebrities, the guests. So I don't know, who's to say? Greg obviously knows. Speaking of Rogers, Greg came up to me and he's like, oh, by the way, he said I had someone walk up to me earlier and call me Geek'd Con Daddy. It's like, yep. He said, and apparently they also got a comment on something on Keel that was also calling him, like, I'm excited to get to Geek'd Con so I can see Geek'd Con Daddy. So Rogers, we're trying to get it to spread a little bit. And it's even funnier because he hates it. Like, that makes it even more amusing, because he's like, no, come on. Jesus. No, come on. So, he got called Geek'd Con Daddy, I think more than once during Geek'd Con this year. So, that made me pretty happy. But yeah, we did get to see Trey. He bebopped upstairs at one point, which is awesome. We love our Trey. We're a big fan, obviously. And yeah, the celebs were out, the sports stars were out. It's the event itself. Again, while it didn't seem like there were a lot of lines for the guests, it felt like there were still a lot of people in the building. So it didn't feel like to me, it didn't feel like ticket sales were suffering at all. It just felt like there were, that it was more concentrated over towards the middle of the venue where the vendors are, as opposed to over where the celebs are. Funny enough, we actually several times I got to see some pretty hilarious stuff with the cosplay folks. Rogers, there was one point where I was walking and I was wearing, this was Saturday. So I was just wearing my Care Bear shirt. I have a shirt that just says, it's Grumpy Bear, and it says stay salty. So I'm wearing my Grumpy Bear, Care Bear shirt, and I'm just walking, driving along, kids yelling from the back seat. So I'm just walking, and this girl in front of me who's like shopping, she's at one of the little vendor spots. She turns around, and I swear she's looking at me. She turns around and she goes, I love your, and I didn't know what, it was one of the anime, characters, or like, I don't know. That's not my area of nerddom. I'm not anime, Dragon Ball Z, Goku, like that's not my area of nerddom. So she like looks back at me and she goes, oh, I love your Goku cosplay. I don't know what she actually said. I love your Goku cosplay. And I'm like, I'm wearing like golfing shorts, like khaki shorts, and a Care Bear shirt that says stay salty. And then I see that she's actually looking right behind me. I swear she was looking at me, but she was looking right behind me. And I turn around and there's someone in like, a very impressive cosplay getup. I'm like, oh, I was like, I swear I thought you were talking to me. And she started laughing. She's like, no, I wasn't. Like most women, Rogers, I thought they were talking to me, and they clearly weren't. And the funny thing was there was a guy in front of me, and he said it was funny you say that, because when she said that, I turned around and all I could see was you. Like, couldn't see the person in the cosplay behind me. So he's like, all I could see was you. He's like, I didn't know what she was talking about. I was like, me neither. I don't know why I'm getting complimented on my cosplay, because I was not wearing any. Unless, I guess if I could be cosplaying a mediocre sports talk host, Rogers, I think that cosplay will probably look pretty good. But yeah, so that was just a little momentary hilarity. There's a lady that I know from the con. She always dresses up as Jessica Rabbit. She's got like a red dress, and she's got the big purple gloves and the red hair. And so we were, I just had seen her, and we were walking back. She was selling like earrings and stuff, like, special earrings. And so we were walking back to her booth, just chatting. And I swear, every second person would be, oh, I love you. That's such a great Jessica Rabbit. And I'm like, Jesus, man, like, talk about bad for the ego. Like, I'm just sitting here and look, she looked great. Like, she absolutely looked great and deserved all the compliments. But you're walking along and she's just, everybody's, oh, you look so good. You look great. I love that. Can I get a picture? Like, all that. Like, I took a couple of pictures while I was there of her with other people that wanted to take pictures with her. And the whole time I'm just going, I guess, chopped liver over here. Rogers, I guess I could have been like, casual Hagrid, maybe. I don't know. My beard's not long enough really to pull off Hagrid. Nor is my hair really big enough to pull that off. But I mean, I guess if I was going to cosplay, I could have cosplayed as casual Hagrid. But yeah, it was great though. And all the, the cosplay remains just incredible, and it only gets better every year. And the other cool thing, and Rogers, I've talked about this before, and this is something you noticed last year when you showed up, and that is just, kids today talk about the vibes, right? How good the vibes are. The vibes at Geek'd Con are just so good. Everybody respects each other. Everyone is inclusive. If your area of nerddom is sci-fi, Star Wars, Star Trek, and their area of nerddom is anime, Japanese anime, that kind of and your area of nerddom is something, cartoons or something completely different, no one gets judged. No one is unwelcome. No one is made to feel unwelcome. You show up in your costume or your outfit or whatever, and everyone loves it. And even if you're showing up without a cosplay on, and you're just like me, right? I'm just kind of wandering around, looking at all the stuff. People are complimentary, and they're very courteous. I saw several different times where, I was just walking and someone would, I saw one person compliment another one's, I love that, I love that cosplay. It's so great. And then one time someone bumped into, I'm so sorry. And the other one's, I'm so sorry. Like Rogers, that's what I love about Geek'd Con, to be honest with you, the most, is just how positive an event it is, right? Like, I mean, you feel that, right? When you're walking around through there.
Oh, absolutely. I learned that last year.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there's like we always say, there's a little geek in all of us, and I love my Kiss and I love my stuff, so there was always something to look at. But last year, I did not realize how much I would enjoy watching other people enjoy stuff that even I don't have any idea what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But the smiles on their faces, and maybe for one weekend, they all feel like they are accepted and welcome, where they might not feel that way except for their little inner circle group throughout the rest of the year.
Right.
And to add the sports card part of it just made me enthusiastic a little more, because that's more my alley than the Geek'd Con stuff.
Sure. So
it added to that pleasure as well. But to walk around and see all that with my daughter, she enjoyed it like I did. It was something I didn't expect last year, and I didn't expect it maybe again this year to be almost as much. And I know the sports card part of it added to that to make it feel like last year. But just walking around and watching these people who have the guts, whether it's a low-end costume or a high-end costume, you got enough guts to put that on and walk around and show everybody this is what you like and makes you happy. How can you knock that?
Yeah, and someone brought it up, and I don't remember who it was. It may have been Geek'd Con Daddy himself. So, and I don't remember who it was, but someone mentioned and said, "Look, this is absolutely." Like, you think about it, who among us hasn't at some point donned a jersey of their favorite team or their favorite player, or worn as Rogers does every single day, wear a hat and a shirt of a favorite team or a favorite band or whatever. Like, we all cosplay at some point, and especially in the world of sports, we all have cosplayed. Like, I had a Mario Bates jersey at one point, Rogers. Like, who had a Mario Bates jersey, for God's sakes?
Boy, like, he was an upright runner, but boy, if he hit you.
For a couple of years, he was an absolute badass, Like,
he was a beast. Yes, he was a beast.
And I come to find out later, Rogers, that he and I shared. He also had vitiligo. Which is what I have.
I couldn't remember what the name was, so I figured you'd bring it up.
Yeah, so that was cool. Seeing someone who kind of had the same thing I have. But yeah, like, I had a number 28 Mario Bates jersey back in the day. So
I don't blame you.
No, and I'm not a jersey wearer anymore. Like, I don't. I don't. That's not my thing. But we all have some facet of our life, and like you said, we all have our own nerddom. And look, being a hardcore sports fan, and like knowing every draft pick that's on your team, and
that's its own nerddom.
That is a level of nerddom that is just in sports. And that's
just because somebody else doesn't understand that doesn't mean it's any less nerd.
Correct. Like, you're a nerd. It just so happens you're a nerd for sports.
Because that's how that's why I kind of said that's how I felt on that second floor this year when it was all sports cards. Of course, it didn't hurt that we're friends with Todd Walker.
Sure.
We're friends with Jacob Hester.
Mm-hmm.
We feel like we know Willie Rove because we watched him his whole career. We watched Rafael Palmeiro his whole career. Everybody knows Mr. Cowboy Bob Lilly. Billy Sims couldn't have been nicer to everybody.
By the way,
Oklahoma.
How incredible a shape was Billy Sims in? That dude looked like he could still go get you a 12-yard run if you needed.
Most of them looked like they could play again. I think I would take Willie Rofe at left tackle for a couple plays, even though you could tell he kind of having a little trouble walking.
Yeah.
But Billy Sims looks like he could strap it on. Jacob still looks like he could strap it on. Todd Walker still looks like he could swing a bat or two.
Well, he's a big pickleball guy now, Rogers. So
so he's in shape, man.
So he's in great shape.
And it was weird to not see him with a big, thick beard because this guy can grow a beard in like 2 hours.
Right.
It was funny to see him clean-shaven 2 straight days. But since we kind of were familiar with all the guests, or at least we've watched them play in their career because they played so close to us in proximity, some of them, it didn't feel like being intimidated by an actor that you've seen in 100 movies that you're kind of scared to approach.
Right.
It's like, well, I've watched you play 100 games, watched you play 100 games, watched you play 100 games, watched you. You know what I mean? It just felt like it was a little more, well, it doesn't feel like I'm in awe or in, starstruck like it is with actors. Because like I said, with McGinley, you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
Because you play such a bad, mean character in most of your movies. Is it because, like I said, hey, because that's his personality and it's easy, and it wasn't at all. So it just showed me what a really good actor he was.
And the other thing is, Rogers, and actually, I drove Kevin Durant. I mentioned drove Kevin Durant back to the airport. And
by the way, how's his Achilles doing?
No, wrong guy, Rogers, wrong guy. That's
he didn't show you his gold medal?
Durand, not Durant. It's a D at the end, not a T at the end, Rogers.
Because I kept looking for a
and
big
by the way,
basketball player.
They're basically the same size. Like that is a massive human being.
That dude is big.
He actually told us the story, Rogers. He was just a couple of weeks away from starring in a biopic of Hulk Hogan.
Wow.
And so he bulked up to he said he was like 285, 290.
Goodness gracious.
In order to play Hulk Hogan. He bulked way up, but then like a week or two before they were getting ready to shoot, the director pulled out or something and the whole thing fell apart.
So he didn't get replaced, the whole project.
Right, the whole project fell apart. And he actually mentioned, he said, look, I'm actually now kind of cutting weight, but he was still yoked up. Like he was thick as hell.
He's a big dude. And what was kind of weird for me was he had white, grayish hair, and so did John C. McGinley.
Yeah.
And that's the first time. I was like, oh, okay, they're a little older than I thought.
Yeah, Durant it's
just,
like bleach blonde, like crazy blonde hair. And he had it
was
so
funny,
high off his head.
The one person that looked exactly like he did many years ago, Pedro.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
he
Ramirez.
looked just like he did from the movie.
Yeah, from Napoleon Dynamite. And
he couldn't have been.
He was sweet as well. And that's the thing. And we talked about this. I talked about this with Kevin Durant, who again he only has done 3 or 4 cons in his whole life. He was amazing. Like his energy was so good. He was the way he was interacting with the folks. And that's what we talked about on the way back to the airport. As I said, there's an aspect of they're being paid to be here. If you don't know how a con works, basically they're guaranteed a certain amount of money, and everything that they make in autographs and selfies and pictures and whatnot chips away at that. So if let's say they're guaranteed $5,000, they know they're going to make $5,000 no matter what. But if they make $6,000 in autographs and selfies or whatever, then Town Square Media doesn't have to pay them. They still get hotel flights. Town Square still foots all that for travel. But if let's say you have a $5,000 guarantee and you make $3,000, well, Town Square Media writes a check for $2,000 to get you to your $5,000 guarantee. So a perfect con for Town Square Media is everyone meets their guarantee, and they don't have to worry about it. So interviews coming up after this break, Rogers, 2:00. So you just let me know when you need me to get to break. We're doing the interview at the top of the hour. There you go. We need to get to the break. So so basically they're all guaranteed something, but part of that is when you show up, you got to kind of be on. You got to be approachable. You have to be engaging. That's part of what you're being paid to do is to give all of the fans that come and show up a special moment with you. And Kevin Durant was amazing at that, and so was John C. McGinley. They were fantastic. So the guests. I mean, another terrific slate of guests that Greg and his crew, Geek'd Con Daddy and Puff, put together. They continue to knock it out of the park. All right, Tim Rebowe, the head coach of the Nicholls Colonels, will join us next. We'll talk a little bit about the defending Southland Conference champs and a really difficult non-conference schedule. They open up at Louisiana Tech here in a couple of weeks before playing at LSU for the first time. We'll talk to Tim Rebowe next.
Fall's coming. You have a lot to prepare for. Back to school, family gatherings, and staying on top of your health. The virus that causes COVID-19 continues to evolve, so this fall make a plan for COVID-19 vaccination. Ask your doctor to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
The future depends on teachers who are reinventing the classroom and starting their students on journeys that will change the course of history. Shape the future. Teach. Learn more and receive free support at teach.org.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-403-5566. That's 800-403-5566. 800-403-5566.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on? Brakes? We can save you 15% on that. We have OE quality Duralast brake pads and rotors in stock, ready for pickup or delivery. We also have calipers, brake fluid, tools, and anything else you'll need to do the job right. When you get Duralast pads and rotors together, you'll save 15%. It's just part of what makes us America's #1 brakes destination.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's gotta be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Hey, if you have ugly yellow toe fungus, you gotta hear about the secret 2-minute trick that I found for my husband. It works from both the inside and the outside. Thousands of people are using it to get rid of their toe fungus. You can check it out at crystalflesh.com. Jake started off with a small spot on his big toe and then it spread and got really bad. His toes were nasty. It was so embarrassing. He was afraid to take his socks off. He hid his yellow and crumbly toes from everyone. He tried everything to get rid of it. Nothing helped. And then we found crystalflesh.com. It was the only thing that worked. In just a few weeks, his toes looked amazing. He's now walking around barefoot again. You guys need to try this. I'm telling you, this stuff is different. It's not sold in stores, but go check it out at crystalflesh.com. They'll even let you try it risk-free so you have nothing to lose. But whatever you do, don't let it get worse. You don't have to live with this anymore. Go check it out now. Just click over to crystalflesh.com.
You've heard a lot of remarkable things about the Pearl Restaurant, located at Fern and 70th. In addition to the incredible food and drinks, the Pearl is now open for dinner 7 days a week, plus lunch or brunch on the weekends. The bar opens at 3, the restaurant opens at 4 Monday through Thursday, and it opens at 11 a.m. all weekend long. Amazing Louisiana-style food with flavor profiles unlike anything you'll find in the state. A 47-foot bar serving signature cocktails, spirits, wine, and beer. An unrivaled selection of both raw and cooked oysters. Plus, the Pearl is serving up amazing old-school favorites like burgers and certified Angus steaks, dry-aged and rubbed in their special Pearl dust. Both the burgers and steaks are Rogers Hampton approved, which is the most prestigious award that a food can receive. The Pearl Restaurant, 6871 Fern Avenue, right off East 70th. Whether you want an amazing lunch on the weekend or an elegant dinner any day of the week, the Pearl has you covered. Let them treat you right at the Pearl.
Get down to
anything you want with Bobby L. Greene Plumbing, now offering heating and air conditioning too. The Greene Team for the best plumbing, heating, air, get it all. One team, 3 generations of local service. Bobby L. Greene, your home team, 6310235. We have it all.
Restore me, refuel me, rejuvenate me. RejuveMeMedical.com.
KWKH and K277DO Shreveport, 103.3 FM and 1130 The Tiger. Your home for LSU sports, a Town Square Media station.
It's time for the main course with Rogers Hampton. Here's your host, Patrick Netherton.
Got junk? We'll take it. Trash. Got junk? We'll take it. Trash.
There is one part now, going on year 10. I can't believe it's been 10 years already. It seems like we just got here.
Well, look, you've earned your laurels, Coach. I mean, the accolades. You've won multiple conference championships, been Coach of the Year, and I want to step back a little bit because it has been a decade now that you've been in Thibodeau, and 10 years ago, Nicholls was one of those programs where occasionally they jump up and get you, but the facilities weren't there, the infrastructure wasn't there, the money wasn't necessarily there. The fan base was hungry, but Nicholls was one of those programs where occasionally they jump up and get you, but the facilities weren't there, the infrastructure wasn't there, the money wasn't necessarily there. The fan base was hungry, but Nicholls was one of those programs where occasionally they jump up and get you, but the facilities weren't there, the infrastructure wasn't there, the money.
Got junk? We'll take it.
Especially today in the landscape of college football and athletics, how it's changed so much. But we felt like they had a good enough, if we identified the right players locally, that we can have some success. And look, we hit a couple home runs on some players, when you have the Chase Forcades and the Sully Leshes and the Dontre, and they took off and really made it go for us. So that's kind of been it. And I have been fortunate, and I don't like to use the word I a lot, but I've had a bunch of coaches with me for a number of years. And that stability part that we talked about, that journey is, both of my coordinators have been with us for 9 years here. And you don't have that, I say anywhere in college football, much less FCS football. So I think, Tommy Rybecky and Rob Christoffel, my hat's off to those guys for putting up with all my bull for all these years,
Well, I was going to say, Tim, because look, you say that, but you obviously are doing something right. If you were a tyrant, and you were someone that was just really hard to get along with, there's one thing to strive for perfection and to be a perfectionist, but there's another thing to make people's lives miserable. And obviously you're not doing that, or else they wouldn't still be there.
Yeah, I think we have the same philosophy, which is really, really nice. And I joke a lot, Pat. I try to get out of their way. I try not to just give them the tools that they need. And I want to think that I don't micromanage, but sometimes you do because you want things a certain way. But I let those guys. They run the offense and the defense, and they've done a fantastic job. And I'm telling you that's a big reason of our success.
You never shy away from non-conference games, and it once again, Coach.
I don't know if that's by choice, though. You know what I mean?
Necessity sometimes, choice sometimes. Once again, you have one non-conference home game in that first stretch. You're on the road a bunch. Louisiana Tech, who I think is very gettable, but also a little step up to the group of five. Obviously LSU for the first time. Just tell me about putting together this non-conference schedule where you are on the road a ton and you are facing a lot of very good opposition.
Yeah, I wish one of my things that I wish we could always do, and we've had some success, is when we played an early home game. And unfortunately, this year is not it. We got to go on the road for 3 in a row, which is going to be tough. The only, I think, and then the other road game we got to go on the non-conference is Southern.
Right.
But I think the silver lining on that is, we stand in the state of Louisiana 3 of those 4 times. Mm-hmm. Where we got to go to Ruston, Baton Rouge, a short trip, and then again Baton Rouge again for Southern. So I think that's a positive part. Against some good quality competition. Now, the thing is because you don't shy away from the good teams, man. You just got to play, but we got to find out early on who we are, and I think that's what separates, the teams that we had like last year. We had a little success is because we played some good competition in those 3 games. That we played TCU, we played Tulane, and we played a real good Sacramento State team. But we find out who we were at that time. We identified some things, and we knew we still had a pretty good ball club. So if we could do that again, and try not look the oldest cliche, right? Let's take one game at a time, and let's not look at the record at the end of that because of the teams that we're playing.
You had an interesting journey last year, the winless in the non-conference, but then you roll through conference play and win the championship. You mentioned, it's a good barometer and it kind of makes you tough, gets you ready for conference play. But how difficult is that to kind of hold the team together emotionally and say, look, guys, this is just get ready for conference play because that's when you're going to shine. How difficult is that just from an emotional standpoint?
Yeah, it is tough if you don't have that right locker room. And I think that's what we found out last year. Is even though when we lost that first game, the opening Thursday night, a little bit of a shocker to the guys, but then they knew we had 2 tough ones. It was kind of a weird schedule. We played a Thursday, and then we played the next week. Then we had an open date, and then we went to New Orleans. So it was a long month, for being 0-3. But we had some guys in that locker room who held it together. And I don't want to just say all seniors because it wasn't just all the senior leaders, but we had some guys that knew and they kept working. They didn't look too far in advance down the road, and then they took they didn't look in the rearview mirror neither. And I think that was what was really, really good. We had some good quality guys in there who knew and look, went to work every week, and we did kind of say, hey, let's wait to see what happens when we get in our conference play, when we start that slate off 0-0.
Talking to Tim Rebowe, the head coach of the Nicholls Colonels, via the Pearl Shreveport hotline. And Coach, obviously this season, look, you're a bit of an old school guy. You love some run game. Obviously, your best quarterbacks have also been able to move a little bit. And you return, you look at that preseason all conference and last year's after the season conference, all conference ballot, and it's just stock full of Nicholls running backs, Spears and Guggenheim, yet again, the 2 first-team preseason guys. In today's day and age of everybody is spread, everyone is trying to throw it a bunch. What's it like being able to still feature the running back there?
Yeah, I think our guys realize, and we do a pretty good job of selling it, is that you win those games in the trenches. You know, you win them up front. You win it with a good run game, and you win it with a good run defense. And that's what we try to sell. And look, and we do other things. I think if you go back and you look at the percentages, it's not as much saying, we're not like 75% run.
Right.
You know, we're not that. I think we're pretty balanced. I just think we do a good job. And we had a good 1-2 punch. Spears could give you that electric run, and then you get in that fourth quarter and you got Guggenheim pounding at you behind that offensive line. And that's worked for us over the years. And we do it. Look, the other part is, I feel like we got some good receivers too. So, hey, they want the ball. So we got to try to do that and spread that ball around a little bit.
Colin Guggenheim really is one of the cool stories in college football. As I recall, he kind of made his debut against Northwestern State now 3-4 years ago, whatever it's been. You kept losing backs and guys were getting hurt, and then this guy shows up and I know he had 100+ against NSU. But that's got to be a cool thing for you as a coach. I mean, as I recall, he was a walk-on, right? He's like 4th, 5th string. Like, tell me about a story of watching a guy go from, low on the depth chart to needing to have him get out there and produce. He produces and then becomes one of your most quality, competitive, consistent guys.
Yeah, we actually signed him, Patrick. We signed him out of John Curtis.
Yeah,
he had gone to the Army. He had gone to the Army and was playing for Army, and he went in the summer. And then he decided he didn't want to do that anymore. We had been recruiting him, and he always said, Coach, if I wasn't going to Army, I was coming to y'all. So he decided to make the change, and he came to us. And really, he was a quarterback at John Curtis.
Right.
And we were debating whether he was going to play quarterback for us. So, look, we even looked at maybe we knew we had to get him on the field. We even talked about maybe linebacker. He was that good of a player.
Sure.
But we were loaded at running back, so he just kind of waited his turn, and man, he just got better and better and better, and he's old school. I mean, if it would be the ones if you put on the black high tops and a neck brace.
Yeah, let's say he's a neck roll guy. There's no doubt he's a neck roll guy.
Yeah, and he's a great young man, and off the field and what he's done for this. I can go on and on about him, the community stuff that he's done, but I'm glad we got him back another year.
Let's talk defensively, Coach. Look, every championship team needs a little balance. It's hard to win a title with just one side of the ball being really good and one side being really bad. And I think that's sort of sneakily been what has been so good about the Colonels is your secondary play, especially over the last 4, 5, 6 years, has just been remarkable. Tell me about what this defense is looking like this year.
Yeah, Tyler Martin in the secondary, he's the young man I brought to media day. He's been starting and playing for us for 4 years. He never redshirted in today's age. I mean, I wish I could have redshirted and have him back another year.
Right.
He does a good job, and I think in that back end we probably got a lot more depth than we've had. We've hit with a couple guys that we signed out of high school. We got a couple transfer guys the last 2 years to add some depth to that room. We was talking the other day to wide receiver coach, and he said, Coach, we probably as loaded in that secondary as we've been since we've been here. But we also know, too, those guys on that back end are only as good as those guys rushing that quarterback.
Yeah, and you've had some really good success with that as well. It seems like every time you turn around, you got one of those swamp boys out there at defensive end, right? Like you just big old country dude just showed up out of, I feel like you always have one of those guys floating around on your defensive line somewhere.
Yeah, we got a couple of them. I'm looking and laughing. We got Rasheed Lovelace is one. We actually got him from right at the panhandle of Florida to come over. We got a kid, Zach Bernard, right from the North Shore, who's been really good for us. I'm really excited about our couple of defensive ends that we have, is Kershawn Fisher and Joe Mason. Really good players. They were good for us last year. They're a year older. They both were transfers. They played at the FBS level. So I'm excited about them. And then it all starts in the middle with our linebacking core, Hayden Shaheen. He's done a good job. And, we were banged up a little bit, Patrick, at the end of last season, and it allowed us to play some other guys. And so, so now we got a lot of depth at some of those positions.
Hey, it never hurts to have a little bit of depth. Talking to Tim Rebowe,
No.
the head coach of the Nicholls Colonels on the Pearl Shreveport hotline. All right, let's get into kind of back up a little bit, because the Southland, you've obviously been there through all of this upheaval. The Southland went from a pretty strong football league with Central Arkansas and Abilene Christian and Lamar and Stephen F. Austin,
Sam
all
Houston,
them in.
yeah.
And then there was kind of a defection, and then there was more, and all of a sudden UIW was getting ready to leave, and Lamar left, and Stephen F. Austin left, and it was oh no, like you might lose your auto bid, the league might fold. Then it kind of got held together a little bit. And then next thing you know, here comes Lamar back into the league. Here comes Stephen F. Austin back into the league. You add in Commerce. You add in UT Rio Grande Valley, who's starting football next year. And UIW decides not to leave when they were getting ready to. What's this journey been like for the Southland, and how kind of cool is it to see them come out on the other side of this?
Yeah, I think it's very cool. And y'all have to tip your hat to Chris Grant, the commissioner. He's progressive. He's done a great job of keeping these guys and getting them back in. And now, you're right. You were thinking about where we're going to go. Are we going to have enough teams to form? To almost now, do we need two divisions?
Right.
Right. I mean, the way it's coming, I think we're really strong, and people wanting to come to us a little bit. I like having us all back together. I really do, and I wish there would be a couple more that could have got back in if Central, maybe could have done it, but they decided to go elsewhere and stay elsewhere. But it really is neat. I think we have a good footprint, with the state of Louisiana, state of Texas, and where we're going to go. So he's done a tremendous job of keeping this thing together. It was almost like the transfer portal stuff. Teams were heading out to go other places and decided and said, hey, look, the grass is not greener on the other side. We had it pretty good where we were.
Well, speaking of the transfer portal, coaches, I keep reminding everyone, just because someone puts their name in the portal doesn't mean they have to leave. They can choose to stay if they want to. It just means they're exploring their options. And I'm curious because for the longest time, guys would drop from Division I to the FCS ranks because they didn't have to sit out a year. Now the sitting out of a year isn't a thing. Tell me about just trying to kind of retain the guys that you have, and how much are you talking to the guys who maybe put their name in the portal and it's like, hey, don't forget you can come back. What's that like, trying to massage your roster in this day and age of kind of college free agency?
Yeah, I think when you look across the board, and you go, and I always talk in terms of general numbers, like, if we got 100 young men on our team, and, you have two guys who say, hey, they're thinking about entering the portal, or they enter the portal. My main concern is I got 98 other guys that want to stay here. And that's where we focus the guys and, what we do. I'm always going to want to help a young man if he thinks he can better himself. In today's age, if a guy, let's say a Jalen Spears, has a great year last year. If some big school would have came after him, we'd have sat down and had that conversation. What's best for him and help him. I really do. But the majority of guys are here, and I really think this on a lot of teams is they're here because they want to be here, and they want to just play ball and not looking to go do all that other stuff, that's put out there on the social media side.
Okay, finally, you get to do something that no Nicholls coach has ever done before, which is amazing to say. You get to play at Tiger Stadium. Again, kind of wild that LSU and Nicholls have not played before. This is sort of it surprised me. I figured somewhere along the way they would have teed it up. But tell me about going to Baton Rouge and getting to play the Tigers.
Yeah, I think we're the only state school that has not gone. But, we were scheduled to play there in 2020. And that was the COVID year when the season got canceled, so we didn't get to go. And then my athletic director, Jonathan Terrell, and Verge Osbury at LSU, they did a great job of, getting us back on in 24. It seemed like, in 20 when we were talking about it, it seemed like 24 was so long ago. Yeah. I mean, so long in advance. But they did. They found an opening. They found a way to get us back on the schedule. It's going to be exciting for the players because it's the flagship school. It's your state school, and it'll be good for them to go and see how they stack up and match up against one of the top programs in the country. It's an easy ride for us. It's an easy ride for the fans. And so hopefully we can go over there and play some good, decent football.
Yeah, that's one of the things I love that Skip Bertman did was try to focus on in-state schools. At least rotate those guys every few years. Give it, keep the money in state. There's no sense bringing in an FCS program from Georgia when you can bring in Nicholls, get way more of a crowd, and keep the money in state. It just makes so much sense. Yeah.
And you're exactly right. That was all Skip Bertman who did that. And then now I think more recently, I think some of the legislators are getting involved and saying, hey, it makes sense. Let's keep the money here. Let's not bring in the Citadel or somebody, from way out, and let's keep them right here. There's a win-win situation.
And look, your fans are going to go and enjoy the heck out of it. It might be the only place in the state that's got better tailgating than y'all do, or at least more tailgating, because they have a lot more land area.
I think they wrote the book on tailgating over there in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
My only negative about going there is, everybody wants a sideline pass. Everybody wants tickets and wants to be.
That's one of those you got to start prioritizing who's got the biggest checks that are coming in, Coach. It can be a little cruel, but you sometimes have to make sure that the right people are getting the sideline access.
Absolutely.
By the way, did y'all do any sort of auctions or anything for those? I know a lot of programs when they have those, they'll auction them off.
I think that the athletic department does a little bit. We have a big fundraiser in the spring, and they'll do some packages to get in the suite, and we'll do one to get on a plane to go out to Sacramento State this year. So we do a few of those.
Nice. I love it. It's a good way to raise a little money. Coach, obviously always great to chat with you and catch up. You're one of my favorite folks in the league. Now the dean. And it's all, man, what you've done at Nicholls is nothing short of remarkable, and we love seeing it, and look forward to catch up with you soon, brother.
Pat, thanks for all the stuff you do, man, and what you do for FCS. We love you, man.
All right, Tim Rebowe, the head coach of the Nicholls Colonels.
Looks like business is booming. What are all those tabs you have open on your computer?
Oh, hey. Well, this one is for my SEO company. This one is for my website company. This one is for my CRM. This is for invoicing and estimates. This one does email. And this one does billing.
Geez, that sounds tricky to manage.
It's clunky, but I need all this to run my business. Wait, you run your own business, and you're even busier than I am. Don't you have all this stuff, too?
I do, but I get it all on one screen with the Town Square Business Management Platform.
What's that?
The Town Square Business Management Platform's an all-in-one tool that helps me grow and run my business. It combines website, billing, and scheduling into one program.
That sounds simpler than juggling all the tools I have now, but you still need someone else to help you find new business, right?
Nope. They have powerful digital advertising built into the platform as well, which helps me keep my calendar full. You can get a demo of the product for free. Check out their website. See if it makes sense for your business.
Go to townsquarelocal.com for a free demo of the Town Square Business Management Platform. Visit townsquarelocal.com. That's townsquarelocal.com.
Lowe's knows our great paint savings mean you can get the colors you want at prices you'll love. Right now, get 20% off 1-gallon cans and 5-gallon pails of Valspar Defense paint or Cabot Stain. Shop now because it's the perfect time to maintain your deck and paint your outdoor spaces. Visit us in-store or online today because Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 8/21. Selection varies by location. See store at Lowe's.com for details.
2 hours ago, Kyle arrived at the bar.
Hey, what's everyone drinking?
30 minutes ago, Kyle got his friends another round of drinks.
Cheers!
5 minutes ago, Kyle decided to drive home drunk. A minute ago, a law enforcement officer pulled up behind Kyle.
Sir, have you been drinking tonight?
A chain of events that began 2 hours ago is about to change Kyle's whole world. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
You've heard a lot of remarkable things about the Pearl Restaurant, located at Fern and 70th. In addition to the incredible food and drinks, the Pearl is now open for dinner 7 days a week, plus lunch or brunch on the weekends. The bar opens at 3, the restaurant opens at 4 Monday through Thursday, and it opens at 11 a.m. all weekend long. Amazing Louisiana-style food with flavor profiles unlike anything you'll find in the state. A 47-foot bar serving signature cocktails, spirits, wine, and beer. An unrivaled selection of both raw and cooked oysters. Plus, the Pearl is serving up amazing old-school favorites like burgers and certified Angus steaks, dry-aged and rubbed in their special Pearl dust. Both the burgers and steaks are Rogers Hampton approved, which is the most prestigious award that a food can receive. The Pearl Restaurant, 6871 Fern Avenue, right off East 70th. Whether you want an amazing lunch on the weekend or an elegant dinner any day of the week, the Pearl has you covered. Let them treat you right at the Pearl.
Get down to business. Tell everyone nothing's off limits. You can have anything you want.
Anything you want with Bobby L. Greene Plumbing, now offering heating and air conditioning too.
Anything you want.
The Greene Team for the best plumbing, heating, air. Get it all.
You can have anything you want.
One team, 3 generations of local service. Bobby L. Greene, your home team, 6310235. We have it all.
Restore me, refuel me, rejuvenate me. RejuveMeMedical.com.
Floating through the airwaves like smooth hickory smoke, Patrick Netherton.
Patrick Netherton Show, 1130 The Tiger, 103.3 FM. Yeah. I anticipate we'll get a Trey Langford comment here in just a bit. Very lengthy intro. And it continues. A lot of keyboard going on. There we go. Had to wait a little bit to get to Getty. Was Rogers, correct me if I'm wrong, Getty also did the keyboard?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Alex was just guitar. Did he ever do anything else?
The guitar he put out for one person and not having a backup rhythm guitars is amazing.
Yeah. And then, of course, Neil was on
maybe
the...
the greatest rock drummer ever.
He was on the 651 drum kit.
Monster power. Both fantastic.
Yeah. He was on the 491 drum kit. Which one is this, Rogers?
Subdivision.
Subdivision. Okay.
It was like 1983 when all the because when you mentioned the synthesizer, that's when everybody started adding more in the mid 80s. Whether you were a rock group, they already used the keyboards and stuff, but they started using the synthesizer as well. So in the 80s, you either adapted or not.
Yeah. No, it makes perfect sense. Patrick Netherton Show, 1130 The Tiger, 103.3 FM, available streaming for you on Twitter/X, Facebook, and the YouTube channel. You can find us on Facebook or the YouTube channel. Just search for The Patrick Netherton Show. Find us on Twitter/X by looking up at PT Netherton. Our show brought to you by the Pearl Restaurant in Shreveport and Bobby L. Greene Plumbing. And Rogers, I was just looking and I saw, now I got to go find it again. I saw the lunch special for the Pearl, and I think that it was a spicy chicken sandwich. Let Let me look real quick. Where is the Pearl of Shreveport? Now, how come I put in Pearl and it does not give me the Pearl restaurant in Shreveport? Like, come on, man. All right, let's see. The lunch special is it's a spicy burger. It is the jalapeno popper burger special, loaded with fried jalapenos, crispy bacon, cheddar cheese, and Chef Angie's homemade chive cream cheese and ranch dressing. Also, tonight is Rogers. I mean, if anyone's going to go to anything, wouldn't you expect me to go to Know-It-All Trivia? I mean, come on.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, come on.
No way.
Yeah, so there's
Thank you, Mr. Know-It-All.
There you go. Yeah, there's a lady who does trivia
hilarious.
that's called Know-It-All Trivia, and she kind of goes around the area. She does it at a bunch of different locations, and they do it Monday nights at the Pearl, 7 to 9 tonight on the patio, the indoor patio. Don't forget, happy hour is 3 to 5, so happy hour starts in about 30 minutes, and that is half-price appetizers and drink specials as well. So, anything. I think it's anything on the front of the menu is half price from 3 to 5. So Rogers, I'm not telling you how to do how to live your life. But that might be one of those. Hey, let's go over about 4:00, 4:30. Let's get a couple of half price appetizers and some drink specials.
That sounds really good.
Yeah, and then like an hour later, 5:30. All right, we're ready to eat. Let's get a burger. Let's get a steak. Let's get some of that incredible seafood. Oysters, obviously, is a huge deal. So all of that is waiting for you at the Pearl. 70th and Fern Avenue is where you find the Pearl of Shreveport. And don't forget, we had someone just ask on the Bobby L. Greene Plumbing text line. Gloria said, are you still going to have the biggest upset winner contest this fall? New sponsor for the contest, the Pearl ? Definitely have missed football. As they say, football is my favorite season. Thank you for a wonderful local sports radio show. Well, Gloria, just to answer your question, it is going to be the Pearl Upset Special. That is going to be happening starting in week 1. So, and I actually had Bernard text in and ask me if the games on August 29th, those Thursday games, will be eligible. And absolutely they will be. The games coming up this weekend. There you go. Yeah, play Gloria's theme music, Rogers. Gloria, Gloria. One of our favorites of all time. Gloria. But yes, we are doing the Pearl Upset Special coming up starting in week 1. And again, not this weekend that's upcoming. That's week 0, but we are starting it in week 1. And the Thursday, the 29th games are 100% eligible. So you think Northwestern State's going to pull that upset against Tulsa on the road? Well, feel free, man. Go ahead and put your money down, as they say. But yes, it will be the Pearl Shreveport Upset Special. That will be the Pearl Upset Special. $50 gift certificates to the Pearl every week during college football season. Of course, you can also pick a pro game if you want, although, as we know, the pros don't start until the week after college football gets underway. So, yes, it will begin next week. Thursday, you can start, we'll probably start taking picks on Wednesday, just to kind of make it easier. But yes, it will be the Pearl Upset Special beginning next week. Next Thursday games, that will be the start of the season. And every week we will give away a $50 gift certificate to the Pearl there at 70th and Fern Avenue. And Rogers, with a $50 gift certificate and half-price appetizers and drink specials from 3 to 5, brother, you could go do some damage now. Like, you don't threaten me with go in and have an order of boudin dip and an order of queso fries and hang out and eat that, right? I mean, I would absolutely do that. and get my money's worth. That's what you got going on at the Pearl, 70th and Fern Avenue. And yes, they will be sponsoring the Pearl Shreveport. They already sponsor the Pearl Shreveport Hotline. They will be sponsoring the Pearl Upset Special. Chuck on the Bobby L. Greene Plumbing text line said, I actually just watched a story about Pedro from Napoleon Dynamite, about how he and his twin brother are estranged because his brother would go around and do appearances pretending to be him and not tell him and make money on the side. Hopefully that didn't happen this weekend. Rogers, did you look closely enough at Efraim Ramirez to find out if it was actually him or his twin brother?
No, I didn't get that close.
I got up close with him a couple of times because Riverport, our buddy over in Stephen Joseph over at Riverport in Jefferson, actually supplied barbecue on Sunday for lunch. So I was going around telling all the guests, all the celebs, like, hey, you want some legit barbecue? Like, get in here. Mitch Pileggi from X-Files is an Austin native, so he knows from some good barbecue. He enjoyed it. Todd was all over it.
Yeah, thanks for almost making me have to choke a fellow employee out this weekend.
Oh, you almost had to choke a fellow employee out?
Well, when you had a certain person tell me he didn't think it was that good.
Oh, yes.
You almost made me have to choke
I
out,
almost
brother.
took care of it myself, Rogers, like that. Yeah, one of our coworkers at Town Square said that it was not worth the hour drive. Well, number one, it's not an hour drive. It's 45 minutes. Number two, it is 100% worth the 45-minute drive, and that dude's an idiot. So that's all you need to know. And he's already a Cowboys fan, Rogers. So I know you it's one strike for you.
He's already an idiot.
It's one strike for Hambone.
Yeah. That he's already got 3 strikes against him for me because he talks crap during the regular season, and then when the playoffs come, we know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, when he laid that on me, you saw I had to walk away from him.
You did. You were like, man, you need to get away.
Yeah, I did. I said, man, you need to get away from me.
Yeah, like you need to get away. So he sure did. Hambone was not having it. But yeah, well, that's crazy. Well, I hope it was actually Efraim Ramirez and not his twin brother. How crazy would that have been, Rogers? If
let's not even start that rumor.
No, just how crazy would that have been if suddenly
all of a sudden Geek'd Con Daddy down the hall is like, well, was it?
Yeah. Yeah, Efraim Ramirez. That would have been quite something. Let's see. Yeah, here you go. Efraim Ramirez twin. They Rogers. They look a lot alike. I mean, they do look like twins.
Really, twins look alike?
I know. Well, not necessarily. They could be fraternal, but yeah, these two.
Yeah, but these two look alike.
Yeah, these two.
I don't think the other guy could get away with looking like him.
I mean, you would think a fraternal twin
didn't actually look like him.
You would think a fraternal twin would have issues getting away.
That
with
would be
Rogers.
some issues. Oh, wait a minute, you're a girl.
Yeah, that would probably. Also, Rogers, not for nothing, but he's a DJ. We should have had him. Come in the studio and lay down some tracks.
The original or the brother?
No, he is. He is.
The real Pedro?
Yeah, the real Pedro.
Okay, now you've got me really confused.
Rogers, his. Let's see. I'm trying to find his. He has 4 brothers, one of whom is his identical twin, Carlos. Also, Rogers, would you like to guess how old he is?
Oh,
you saw him up close and personal.
No, well, and I grew up in Houston, so I know that they age very well. They're kind. I'm gonna say close to 50.
He's 50.
Wow.
He's gonna be 51 in like a month and a half.
And he can still kick and stretch because he's 50.
Yeah. He's gonna be 51 in like a month and a half.
That's he didn't look it. I'll be honest with you. But
I will say this, Rogers.
I started doing the numbers in my head about when the movie came out, and I went, okay, he was probably 20-something then. It's been 20-something years, so closer to 50.
I would have guessed that he was younger than me. Just seeing him and not running the numbers, like not.
If you were talking, if I just never seen him and never seen you,
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
But like I said, since I grew up in Houston and I know the Mexican descent, they do age well unless, you just had led a party life, which is bad for anybody. They don't care what nationality you are.
Sure.
But mainly with that darker skin, they age well. They look younger. And like I said, I grew up going to Houston, so I know.
Look, Rogers is 38 years old. But that party lifestyle, man, the party lifestyle that Rogers has led.
It makes me look 60.
Yeah, he looks like he's almost 60, but he's actually 38 years old, that Rogers Hampton. Younger than I am.
Well, I really hope it was the real Pedro.
I do too, man. That's hilarious. Like, I had no idea that
we don't need to add any more Eeyore paranoia to Geek'd Con, Daddy.
No, it's true. That's true. Okay, so Rogers in 2008 apparently sent a cease and desist letter to his brother Carlos, warning him to stop making public appearances as Efren. Carlos said that he only did that when his brother asked him to, because he was too busy to make appearances for himself. But then Carlos said he did take things too far. He said, I did attend an event without his knowledge as I was being immature and wanted to get back at him for a personal matter which involved the girl I was dating at the time. All right. Okie dokie. All right. Well, I wouldn't have asked him about that, but it is interesting. And yeah, Rogers, they look just alike, man. As you would figure identical twins would. Jamie G chimes in. Hello, long time no talk, friends. Hey, Jamie G. Yeah, it has. We hadn't heard from him since June, and didn't hear from him before then, late April. So good to hear from you, Jamie G. Don't be a stranger, man. Mark in Arkansas said that Cowherd guy said Caitlin Clark is Taylor Swift in sneakers, LOL. I mean, not that far off. Like, she is far and away the most popular player in women's basketball. She's not the best player, obviously, in the WNBA, but she's playing exceptionally well here over the last month or so, going back to before the Olympic break. She's playing incredibly well, being much more efficient, not turning it over as much. She's had, I think I saw that the only players in NBA or WNBA history to have 50 points and like 25 assists over the course of 2 games. It's like 3 people in the history of both of those. So yeah, there's a lot happening, man. Caitlin Clark is absolutely setting it on fire right now, and her team is playing well. Lexi Hull had 6 threes last night to spur a little comeback, and they continued to get it done. The Fever are in good playoff positioning, and they keep working themselves. Rogers, they keep jettisoning up the charts. They keep working their way up. All right. It's a Patrick Netherton Show, 1130 The Tiger, 103.3 FM. We'd love to hear from you. The show brought to you by the Pearl, Shreveport, and Bobby L. Greene Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. And I'll tell you a little bit more about Bobby L. Greene when we return to the Patrick Netherton Show, 1130 The Tiger, 103.3 FM. You can join us over on the stream on Facebook, Twitter, or the YouTube channel. Come hang out with us as we wrap up the show next.
Hi, I'm Cesar Milan. People are always commenting on how healthy my dogs are. One of the reasons is the food my dogs eat.
Dr. Marty's Nature's Blend is a premium freeze-dried raw dog food designed to support your dog's health, happiness, and lifespan. Save up to 54% off Nature's Blend and get a free bag of cod Krispies. Go to drmartypets.com/deal or text DEAL to 511-511.
Your order is back with a 90-day guarantee.
All dogs are unique. Your dog results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply.
She posted about us? followers. Just now?
Celebrities can't get enough of Bianna's bespoke skincare line.
She has 147 million followers. How do we monetize?
She needs a social media associate to help her with the hype.
We should repost this. Do we need a hashtag?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
This year, Dell Technologies' Back to School event is delivering impressive tech with an inspiring purpose. Learn how Dell is helping Computer Aid, whose work is helping solar community hubs with tech and AI literacy skills to empower remote, displaced, or disconnected communities around the world. Help Dell make a difference and shop AI-ready PCs powered by Snapdragon X Series processors at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
It's common knowledge that after age 30, our metabolism changes. We have less energy and gain weight easier. There's a way to feel better, not in years or months, but sometimes in just days.
I'm Chuck Norris. I tried everything. Working with a team of health experts, we came up with Morning Kick. Morning Kick is a revolutionary new formula that combines all my favorite supplements into one daily drink.
Morning Kick has probiotics to help you lose weight, prebiotics for digestion, superfoods for muscles and joints, and powerful anti-aging supplements. It'll help you feel youthful, energized, and helps manage stress.
I look and feel better than I have in years.
Go to roundhouseprovisions.com, use code SUPPORT, or text SUPPORT to 511-511 and claim 40% off. roundhouseprovisions.com, code SUPPORT.
Every purchase comes with our 90-day money-back guarantee. You could be feeling these changes within just a couple of days.
Text SUPPORT to 511-511.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Tax fees may apply.
Get down to business. Tell everyone nothing's off limits. You can have anything you want.
Anything you want with Bobby L. Greene Plumbing, now offering heating and air conditioning too. The Greene team for the best plumbing, heating, air, get it all. One team, 3 generations of local service. Bobby L. Greene, your home team, 6310235. We have it all.
You've heard a lot of remarkable things about the Pearl Restaurant, located at Fern and 70th. In addition to the incredible food and drinks, the Pearl is now open for dinner 7 days a week, plus lunch or brunch on the weekends. The bar opens at 3, the restaurant opens at 4 Monday through Thursday, and it opens at 11 a.m. all weekend long. Amazing Louisiana-style food with flavor profiles unlike anything you'll find in the state. A 47-foot bar serving signature cocktails, spirits, wine, and beer. An unrivaled selection of both raw and cooked oysters. Plus, the Pearl is serving up amazing old-school favorites like burgers and certified Angus steaks, dry-aged and rubbed in their special Pearl dust. Both the burgers and steaks are Rogers Hampton approved, which is the most prestigious award that a food can receive. The Pearl Restaurant, 6871 Fern Avenue, right off East 70th. Whether you want an amazing lunch on the weekend or an elegant dinner any day of the week, the Pearl has you covered. Let them treat you right at the Pearl.
Restore me, refuel me, rejuvenate me. RejuveMeMedical.com.
Tiger weather now.
Excessive heat warning continues here for this evening. We have a heat advisory in effect for Monday. Fair to partly cloudy skies here tonight. Warm overnight near 80. Sunny and dangerously hot again Monday. Highs near 100. Heat index close to 110. Not as hot through midweek, though. Mostly sunny skies Tuesday, Wednesday. Temperatures both afternoons, reaching highs in the low to mid-90s. I'm meteorologist Ken Boone at the Weather Channel.
The previous program was paid for by Tim Fletcher. KWKH and K277DO Shreveport, 103.3 FM and 1130 The Tiger. Bossier City's home for LSU Sports, a Town Square Media station.
Let's get to the meat of the matter with producer Rogers Hampton.
Hey, boy!
Here's your master of ceremonies, Patrick Netherton.
As soon as you are able, woman, I am willing to make the break that we are on the brink of. My cup is on the table, my love is feeling, waiting here for you to take and drink of.
I think, Rogers, this is the first time I've really sort of paid attention closely enough to realize how oddly he enunciates his syllables. Turning. Like it's the end of the end syllable of all of these words, especially at the end of a line. It's a Patrick Netherton show, 11:30 The Tiger. Rogers and Patrick rolling with the changes as we go along. Big thanks to Tim Rebowe for joining. And by the way, big thanks to Tim Rebowe for being a trooper, because he was supposed to be on live a week ago Friday, and then I had my little low blood sugar incident and was in the ER. So we rescheduled, and we ended up recording it this past Friday, while we were not doing a show. He recorded it at 2 o'clock on Friday, and so I appreciate Tim having a little patience and being willing to work with us a bit. But good dude, quality human being, and a good coach, man. Tim Rebowe is a hell of a football coach, and I mentioned it during the interview. What he's done in a decade at Nicholls is really unprecedented. And the funny thing is, their overall records are not necessarily great. They had a 9-win season a couple of years ago, but they were like one game over 500 this past year, I think. But the reason for that is because they play an incredibly difficult non-conference schedule. So last year they lose all of their non-conference games, and then I believe they won all of their conference games. So it's just one of those kind of weird little things where the overall record doesn't look amazing, but when you consider kind of how the season went, you realize that they were able to get everything together and keep everything together at that point to allow for them to go through and have some success in conference play. So do appreciate Tim Rebowe for joining us today, or really joining us last Friday. Again, we are working on trying to get interviews set up with the rest of the Louisiana Division I football coaches. I feel pretty confident we're going to get ULL, Tulane, and feel reasonably confident that we're going to get ULM. I am obviously we continue to kind of hold our breath when it comes to trying to grab Brian Kelly. That is always always a little bit of a question mark in grabbing Brian Kelly. So we'll see, man. We'll see if we can make that happen or not. I hope we can. Because would love to finally get to chat with BK a little bit. Rogers, I'm sorry, I just called him BK. Would you like to? You can hit me with a switch now if you'd like to. But I'm hoping we're going to get the opportunity to go ahead and do that. Let's see, what have we missed on? Apparently, the Commanders have officially named Jaden Daniels their starting quarterback. That's no real surprise. The Michael Penix has not been playing much for the Falcons. What are the Patriots going to do at their quarterback position? The Bo Nix love continues as he continues to play well. Someone mentioned that the jerseys that they came out in, the uniforms they came out in, they were wearing the dark blue helmets with white jerseys and orange pants. And someone said they looked like Boise State. Like, they looked way more like Boise State than the Denver Broncos. That's for sure. But they wreaked havoc, man. Kudos to Sean Payton. Again, this is preseason. How much can you take from preseason? Probably not that much. But at least at this point, it appears that Peyton has found his guy, and Bo Nix seems to be it. He seems pretty confident in what he's doing. He seems like he knows what's happening, and someone mentioned, and I thought it was a really good observation. I think it might have been Robert Griffin III, who, by the way, just got fired from ESPN, along with Sam Ponder. So yeah, RG3. I've enjoyed Robert Griffin III on broadcast, so I'm somewhat surprised he got fired. I've really enjoyed his game calls. I think he has fun doing it. He's not too he takes it seriously, but he's also having a lot of fun, which is kind of how I feel like that most of these broadcasts should go. But yeah, Robert Griffin III got fired, but I believe he was mentioning, he was talking about the footwork and also talking about how comfortable Bo Nix looks in that offense. And he said, why not? The man's had to learn like 3 or 4 different offenses in the last, in his entire college career. Chuck said RG3 and Sam Ponder getting fired by ESPN is just about right because they both have ties to Florida State, and we know how that relationship is. I know Sam Ponder has ties. What is RG3's ties to Florida State? I legit don't know. Did he marry a Florida State sprinter or something? I think he married a track athlete, right? But he's a Baylor guy. He doesn't have any Florida State. Oh yeah, there you go. Wife was an All-American track star there. Yeah, it has absolutely zero to do with ties to Florida State, or they would have fired a bunch of different people that have way more ties to Florida State than they were just married to Florida State athletes. No, I don't buy any of that. I don't buy also, a lot of people want to say it's political because Sam Ponder is very conservative, right wing. I don't necessarily buy that either. I think it was just, they're looking for cost-cutting measures, and where could they go? They can plug a lot of people into that NFL live whatever countdown desk. Laura Rutledge can go right over there and host in a heartbeat. And analysts are a dime a dozen, so you can find anybody that can go and handle that. So I think that's why they ended up doing it. I don't think it had to do with their politics or who they were married to. All right. Or maybe it was just because, RG3 posted that picture of him eating the giant croissant, and they were just embarrassed by it. That'll do it for me. For Rogers Hampton, back at the studio, I'm Patrick Netherton. Y'all be safe and careful out there, everyone. It's going to get hot and humid again after we got a little rain today. Y'all be good. We're looking forward to seeing you tomorrow from 1 to 3 right here on the Patrick Netherton Show.